Well, Prepper, looks like we were right. It's hit the fan. So let's dive in and talk about it.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
Well is right. Oh man, well, I used to hear that as a jarhead from my from my platoon leader. Well, boys. I tell you what. This is stunning. When we don't get the information we need. And I was just having this discussion with a very close friend. Communication, key, 100%. Well, we as the little people, we don't get to be in on the big communications, do we? But we did, folks, get some clues. And that is about as good as we can get, using our minds, communicating with one another, sharing information is key. Now, here it is. In a stunning shift, the Washington Post, the WAPO, admits that over in Ukraine, folks, they've got big problems. Not Russia, the Ukrainian army. They're having massive problems. Oh, wait. They've had massive problems. They're ongoing massive problems. They're worsening massive problems. It's just now the mainstream media wants to tell us. In a huge reversal of fortunes, it would seem, all of a sudden, the morale of the Ukraine is horrible. The conditions are terrible, right? As if on cue, reports start showing the facts of the conflict. Ukraine, folks, is not winning, is poorly led, poorly trained, and poorly equipped. Desertion is rampant. I thought we sent $50 billion. I mean, we were outraged, folks, outraged over Afghanistan. Nearly 20 years of American blood, effort, and treasure spent on Afghanistan. That's a lot. That's an awful lot. And we just gave it up and gave them back, that country, to the terrorists, folks, the enemy that we were there to defeat. Then we gave them $85 billion. And essentially, we created an army. We equipped an army that hates us. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And now we're doing this in Ukraine. But it's as if on cue. Perhaps Kissinger's speech at Davos just a couple of days ago. Perhaps that speech was more of an order than a prophetic quip by a fossil of a New World Order leader, right? In order to ease the pain for Europe and the United States of America. The fight with Russia through the proxy Ukraine should stop. They should sue for peace. That's basically what was being said. The Russian ruble got so strong, folks, as a currency, Russia had to artificially weaken it earlier this week. Russia's not being hurt, as the Prepared Mind Network predicted, over oil sales and other exports. It is Europe who is being hurt, and America. And mostly, folks, hurt are the poor nations around the world who rely on the good behavior of the superpowers and the excess food supply that comes their way. This is incredible. So if the Ukraine is going to be exposed as losing, if the media is now going to proclaim, show Ukraine losing, how does this end? How quickly can they end it? Will Kissinger get his wish, which is also part of his speech, and keep most of Ukraine intact? Minimizing the losses to Russia, losing the eastern provinces only, or will Putin take Odessa? Right? That's, I think, why Kissinger was saying we need to end this now. Not that I'm any lover of Henry Kissinger. We are in good control here at the White House, said Kissinger back in 73? Wow. Yeah, he's been around for over 50 years, folks. I mean, that was when he was Secretary of State, Henry Kissinger, back during the President Nixon administration. Tricky Dick, early 1970s. This guy's still alive, and still his words, right? Perhaps it's time, we get out of Ukraine and minimize the damage so that we don't make Russia a permanent enemy. Because, folks, when it comes down to it, it is about natural resources. Right? You can't operate a country these days when a single product, like an automobile, requires parts and materials from nearly every country on the planet. Right? That's how globalism has shaped our economy and our world. Right? You want to buy something, a part will come from here, a part will come from there, materials will come from this country, production, refinement will come from here, and it'll all get shipped back over here, then it'll all get sent over here to get assembled. And then it'll be flown over, shipped over, bussed over, trucked over, trained over to our country, and then it'll go through a series of networks of trucks and delivery systems to finally make it to a store shelf that you go and pick it up and go, that was easy. Right. So will Kissinger get his wish and keep most of Ukraine intact? Russia's in the driver's seat now, folks. They have been the whole time. Mainstream media headlines do not make for facts. They don't make for facts. Right? So let's ask some more questions. Will Russia stop its abandonment of the dollar, the US dollar, and push for its gold and commodity-backed currency, the ruble, to protect itself, Russia, and draw investment capital to itself into Russia from around the world? Or will Russia be sanctioned basically permanently and kept caged as an enemy, at least from the minds of Americans and Europeans? Right? Will we be kept out of Russia? Will Russia be kept out of us? Will the super rich and their political stooges like Pelosi and Mittens Romney, will they be allowed to invest in Russian infrastructure and Russian business through, I don't know, numbered accounts controlled and regulated through Liechtenstein that have secret trading alliances with Russian banks and investment firms? Of course they will. They'll be able to profit from this coming and going because that's all they want. The New World Order wants peace. Not really. The New World Order makes money off of conflict, pitting one side against the other, divide and conquer. If you have two sides at war, if you're supplying goods, war goods, then you win not once, but twice by supporting both sides, by selling to both sides. This is the ultimate rich man's trick. And by rich, I don't mean your neighbor who has a Mercedes or a Jaguar or a Rolls Royce even. I'm talking about the guys with billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. These are the guys that get rich off of both sides. And there's a lot more than you see in the mainstream media. You know, Zark Zuckerberg, even Elon Musk are not the world's richest men. They're not the world's richest families. Start thinking of it in terms of families and aristocracy. Trillions of dollars, folks. All that gold and silver that was stolen from the Americas 300, 400, 500 years ago, that money still exists. That gold is still in bank accounts and vaults, buried deep in the earth. It is still collateral on which the super wealthy draw. And they can say, I've got 6 tons of gold. Tons of gold. Let's just say in a very deep mine in Switzerland. And so they have a line of credit against that. And they can use that money to influence, to buy. The New World Order wants peace. They're not buying peace, folks. They're buying divisiveness, division. They buy wars. They start this. But in this case, the New World Order wants peace. No, they just don't want any more serious war, right? It's costing too much. It's becoming so apparent to the public. We're not supporting it. In fact, the American people were polled, and a majority of people don't want to continue to hurt us in an effort to try and hurt Russia. They're losing the public's interest, attention, and support. Kissinger's right. Yeah, it's time to ask for some peace. They got as much war as they could out of this. They got as much of the attention span of the people in the world. And they don't want the rest of the shit to come out of the horse. Folks, that Zelensky, while he's the leader of the country, his army, the Azov battalion, has committed massive atrocities beyond which I'm allowed to describe here. And he can't control them. They don't want the truth about the Nazi thing coming out. This is horrifying, folks. War is horrible and horrifying, and they don't want that to come out. They want this nice, clean little scenario to play out. I'm expecting now, if I was a betting man, and I'm not, I would put money on peace coming within the next 30 days. A claim that there's a ceasefire and that peace talks will begin. I'm expecting that in the next month, sometime in June, if not in the next couple of weeks. But certainly, folks, it's over for Ukraine. But that doesn't mean that the conflict, the hard feelings, the sanctions, and this push and drive to get Russia out of Europe, that will continue. They'll use this as the excuse. We don't need your Russian oil, uranium, coal, and gas. Well, we need it for a little while, but Europe is going to continue to abandon Russia. Don't worry, though. Russia's already made provisions for itself. Right? But the little countries around the world, nobody asked for this. And we're getting massive inflation, massive food shortages. We're getting massive, massive blowback. There are riots. There are people getting killed because these rich people want to create a scenario. And then they want to come back and say they want peace. Not until they get their profit, their wealth. Merchants of death, folks. To avoid the conflicts that are coming here, are you prepared? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and a plan. It's not over here in the United States of America. We've got our own problems that have just been exacerbated. That's right, exacerbated. And the President of the United States, Joe Biden. I'm going to give you full credit there, President Joe, because he wants a painful transition to get away from oil. An unnecessary, painful transition. They could have put more solar, more wind. They could have introduced ultra-safe small modular reactor, nuclear technology, molten salt thorium reactors. They could have introduced all of this and phased out oil in a very painless way. Instead, we got the pain. And there's more to come. Chance favors the prepared mind. Is yours. Spread this message. Share this video, folks. It's critical for people to know what is happening over there, and what they're hearing and going to hear wasn't a decision that happened that day, but rather a decision that happened in a semi-smoke-filled, very dimly lit room with a bunch of very evil people making decisions on our behalf. Remember, it's their community. They call it a community of thugs at Davos. Chance favors the prepared mind. Is yours. Semper Fi.